Stoinis 122.
Oh, terrible ball.
That'll go again. 4 to Stoinis. Chris Lynn has taken the wild thing and sent him possibly over the roof. Keys went again. That is the best catch you'll see. There it is now, Jordan Silk.
The best finisher in Australia, Richard Quantick says.
Jordan Silk takes one of the great catches.
You are now listening to the SuperCoach Experience.
Hopefully win this game and we can have a drink after. Don't blush, baby.
I'm not blushing.
Like some bone kick.
Hello, and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, and I'm the coach of the Savage Strikers. Today, we're here to talk about BBL SuperCoach. A lot of you are new, a lot of you are pro, so let's get straight into it. So, for the new people that are playing, double game weeks are DGWs. A lot of teams do play twice in a single round, while other teams could be on a bye. So, you really got to plan it to make sure that you've got as many double game players as you can. Trades are not necessarily a worry. You can do 3 trades a week and by the end of the season not run out of trades, but you've really got to manage how many players per round you have. You can really stack up on the double game players if they don't have a bye following up. But for instance, this year, the Brisbane Heat start off with a double game week and then they got the bye the week after. So you don't want to load up on too much of them because the next week you're either going to have to get them out or sit them on your bench. So you've got to make sure that you have, it's a real balancing act that you really got to juggle. Now, double game week players versus single game week players, this is a real balancing act that people struggle to nail. With the double game weeks players, you've really got to choose the quality ones. I mean, you can lower your standard for them, but dropping someone like a Glenn Maxwell for it or a Marcus Stoinis or a Darcy Short or a Daniel Sams, you really got to make sure they're a quality player. So if a Rashid Khan or a Majib is playing 2 rounds and you've got the decision between one of them players and Glenn Maxwell, we'll definitely go with the double game week player. But if you've got a decision between a Glenn Maxwell player and a Jack Wildermuth type player, you go Glenn Maxwell every day of the week. Glenn Maxwell is actually a bad example because he's missing out on the first round, but that's pretty much where we got to go with this strategy. So a lot of players that I just mentioned just then is what I want to talk about today. So we've got a lot of players that we want to make sure are in our sides and are staples of our sides. These sort of players we build our team around, and the double game week players are the ones that come in and out. So without further ado, let's get on to that.
Tonight though.
A peach of a delivery. That is his best ball. What execution from the leg spinner. The wrong and through the gate at Cannon into middle.
As always, thank you to TopSport for running this segment. TopSport is Australia's best bookie. They're doing exclusive BBL markets for the BBL season as handpicked by us. So we're going to each round pick out a market and they're going to give us the odds and we're going to present it to you guys, and hopefully we can make people some money this off season. Over 18, gamble responsibly. Make sure you're using the code SC Experience when signing up. So must-have players, in my opinion, for this year. Majib Ur-Rahman, he does have a bye in the second round, but he was just an absolute gun last year. He's only getting older and perfecting his craft, so I think you've really got to get someone like Majib in. He's going to be very valuable. Don't expect much from him with the bat, but I really think he's going to light it up with the ball this season. Chris Lynn at 172,000. I think he's gone under the radar this offseason, but with a double game week to start off, there is no other round you probably want to have him. You get 2 shots of the dice. He's not going to do much in the field. He's not going to bowl. But if he goes massive, his strike rate bonus is always there on offer. And he has big bulk runs to make. I think his ceiling in a double game week is probably 220 maybe. It really depends. I haven't seen much from him in the off season. You usually see he's lighting up grade cricket at this time of year, but right now he's not really doing it. But hopefully that means he's concentrating on the Brisbane Heat side of things. Marcus Stoinis at 163,000. This is severely underpriced for Marcus Stoinis. He is an absolute gun. Not sure if he's going to get overs in that star side. I think Marcus Stoinis has kind of transitioned into a kind of player who doesn't get the overs that he used to. I don't know. I honestly can't see him bowling much this BBL season. So keep an eye out for that. But nonetheless, he's an opening batsman and he is an absolute gun. And that is way underpriced for what Marcus Stoinis is. Michael Nessa is an interesting one. He's made the Australian A Tour. He was on my list before this was named, so I apologise. But if he is available for round 1, I would 100% go Michael Nessa. He's probably batting number 8, and he is a double game week as well. Andrew Tye, who is an interesting one, had a quiet season under his standards last season, but at 133,000, he's getting wickets leading up to this, and I think that's only a good sign for Andrew Tye. He is a gun of the BBL, a stalwart, you might say, and I really think he is a good purchase. Daniel Sams at 203,000. He can bat, he can bowl. The batting side of things for Thunder doesn't look that great, so hopefully he comes in at number 6. With Ollie Davies injured, maybe that pushes him up to number 5, depending on what the makeup of their side is. But nonetheless, Daniel Sams is a really good option with the ball, and he makes great cameos with the bat at the end. Josh Felipe. He's hitting form at the perfect time of the season. These sorts of players sniff out the BBL season this time of year, every single year, and it's the same culprits. It's Darcy Short, it's Josh Felipe. He scored 129 the other day, and I really think he's going to light up this season. There's a keeper position on offer in the test side. It's not official yet that they are looking at replacing Tim Payne, but I really think that with that position open, he'll knuckle his head down and possibly try and push for a case. Next on my list for players I think are good to have this season. So Jimmy Pearson at 89,000. I think this is an interesting one. I've got Felipe in my batting section and Jimmy Pearson is up in my wicketkeeper section. I think Jimmy Pearson might bat 4. It really depends on where all these internationals fit in, and he's always batted at like 6, 7. I don't see him batting there. Maybe 6 or 5 at 4 at best. But hopefully we can get an early indication on that. And he's been in superb form with the bat. So I'd love to see him light it up this season. And maybe he's going to push for a case. All these keepers are going to be absolute gold this season, especially with the uncertainty around the test keeping position. Now for some undervalued players.
For the strikers, Lynn. Oh! Absolute beauty from Nisa. Pitches on middle, gets past the outside edge, thunders into the stumps. It's the start they needed. It's perfect for the strikers. Gets a cracking.
Undervalued players that I really think are good options for this season. Aaron Finch at 62,000 now. He absolutely stunk it up last year, stunk it up in the T20 World Cup, but he is not playing against men anymore. He's playing against kids. So hopefully with the captaincy relinquished from him, he's going to have the pressure of the world off his shoulders. He's just won a T20 World Cup. I mean, he's in your side regardless. He's got to be in your side. Whether you play him every week or not is another question, but I think he is a solid option to even start with and start on your playing field. Matt Renshaw, depending on how the batting order for the strikers go, there's an opening position available there and possibly a number 3 and 4 position with Travis Head out of the side, Phil Salt not re-signed, and along with Harry Nelson, really good underpriced purchases. They're in my side at the moment, but I guess we'll see further along when we get more indication of what the season's going to be like and how it's going to go. Daniel Hughes, with the double game week starting off, 78,000. He is a really good one to consider. I think I'd start with him over Finch if you're tossing up between the two because he's got more potential with money to make. Thanks for listening to this episode, guys. Presented by TopSport. Use the code SCEXPERIENCE when signing up to let them know you're coming from us. Over 18, gamble responsibly. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It was a bit delayed this off-season with with everything going on, and it's been hard to line up times, but we're getting straight back into it. We have some special guests coming on next week that can really, we can delve deep into the Sydney Thunder and the Sydney Sixers and what their youngsters can really produce in this BBL. So hopefully we can get some cheapies out of that chat. But nonetheless, enjoy your SuperCoach if you have any suggestions for the show, or also for certain players that you think I've missed. Push it in. I know a lot of you are going to say Rashid Khan, but hot tip very early. Actually, I should have done an antipod segment, but antipod Rashid Khan, I think he is done as a BBL player. I think he's done. He's hit his peak as a cricketer. That's my big call for the day. So enjoy your SuperCoach, guys, and we're only a week and a half away from it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no injuries or some injuries or no injuries. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
The greatest.
You are now listening to the SuperCoach Experience.
Hopefully win this game and we can have a drink after. Don't blush, baby.
I'm not blushing.
Like some boom cake.